Hello everyone, this is Giraffe. When the darkness is coming, it is time for some mysterious story. Today's topic is about this: the tomb in King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid in Egypt. We thought probably it is a place to bury the pharaoh after they passed away. Yes, at first we did think so, but there are some strange and weird things which make us think probably it is not a tomb. First of all, there's no pharaoh's mummies. If it is a tomb, it should be some bodies of some valuable people like pharaoh or pharaoh's relatives, but there's nothing. And also, it was built above the ground. Whose tomb was built above the ground? If it is a tomb, it should be buried under the ground. Especially it is a tomb for valuable people like pharaoh, the king, the emperor, the leader. Of course, people know there are a lot of valuable things like jewelry and diamonds buried inside. And it's very obvious it's just above the ground. People all know that it is your tomb. So why not we just go inside and steal your valuable stuff? Also, based on some archaeologists' prediction, it requires 20,000 to 30,000 people to build. And also it requires 20 years non-stop to only do that. Then the Great Pyramid can be built. So if it is only a tomb, why spend so much money and spend so many labors and spend so much time on that? If it is a tomb, it doesn't make sense. It is not that reasonable. But we still need to say that for a very long time, we still viewed it as a tomb. But we're just not sure, is it tomb or not? Not sure about that until we find out this, the Tutankhamun tomb. As long as we go deeper to discover the Tutankhamun's tomb, then we are pretty sure that the pyramid, especially the stone tomb in King's Chamber, is not only a tomb. So what is Tutankhamun's tomb? What did we find in it? Tutankhamun is a pharaoh in ancient Egypt. He is famous for his golden mask. If you don't know him, you might have seen this before. His tomb was found in Valley of the Kings, where a lot of pharaohs' tomb was buried. And for 30 years, we cannot find his tomb. It is because his tomb is not like a pyramid, it's underground. So it is quite difficult to find it. As deeper as we go to discover the Tutankhamun's pyramid, we started to believe the Great Pyramid, especially the King's Chamber, the stone tomb in King's Chamber, is not only a tomb, because let's compare these two different places. First of all, let's pay attention to the wall painting. In the Tutankhamun's tomb, there's a lot of wall painting. For ancient emperor, for ancient kings, ancient leaders, their tombs all have the wall painting. It was shown on the wall about their gods, and also there are some decorations. It's pretty beautiful and amazing. But compared to the King's Chamber in Great Pyramid, it is too simple. There's nothing inside. There's no decoration. There's no no gods, no wall painting. It is too simple for a king, for a pharaoh. He is a pharaoh. After he passed away, there must be something valuable things left, but it is empty. And also there's another thing caught our eyes. There's no doors at all. If it is a tomb, we need at least have a door to open. Then we can put the pharaoh's mummy into that tomb. But not only in the king's room we cannot find the doors, but also the queen's room we cannot find the doors. Yeah, there's no doors, no mummies, no wall painting, and also it was built above the ground. Very obvious. So all in all, probably the pyramid are not a tomb. If it is not a tomb, then what is that? Here comes a very bold hypothesis. It is an electricity generation device. You may think it doesn't make any sense because the Asian people, especially Ancient Egypt, how can they know how to use the electricity? They don't have the modern technology at all. They don't have TV, they don't have cell phones, they don't have the air conditioners. So how come they know how to use the electricity? But look at this. Baghdad Factory. In 1933, in Iraq, Baghdad, we found out this. The height is 14 centimeters. The width is 3 centimeters. Very small one, but we found something very modern items inside. There is a copper wire and iron stick inside, and it was covered with the pitch to seal it, so that the copper and the iron won't touch each other. The archaeologists were astonished by this. What is this? And the scientists are very excited about this. They said it is absolutely a battery. Just add acid, then it can generate the electricity. So scientists based on this did one module. They add grape juice, then it really can get electricity. Later on, they changed to the lemon juice. The result is even better. So that is probably a battery. The size, especially like a battery, very convenient, like a power bank. You can carry it everywhere, just like the modern power bank. So probably the Asian people already know how to operate the electricity. They not only know how to operate the electricity, but they also know how to generate the electricity. Later on, people found some wall painting in the temple of Hathor. It draws something really looks like bulb, the dandelion light. One person is operating a filament, and a wire was connected to the bulb. It seems like the Asian people really know how to operate and how to generate the electricity. If it is true, then the hypothesis of the Great Pyramid is the device of generation of the electricity can make sense. So if it is true, then why the pyramids can generate electricity and how? We need to talk about the structure of the pyramid. The surface of the pyramid used to have white limestone. We got the Egyptian journal from the relics in the Egypt. It mentioned about this, and it is very polished, so under the sun it should be shining. And also inside of the pyramids, most of the materials, most of the stuff, especially in the corridor, most of the things were made from the granite. What is granite? Granite is kind of the material consists of a lot of quartz and metals. Please pay attention to quartz. It is a very special material. The quartz conductivity is very good, which means given some pressure, just press it, then this material will generate electricity. How to? If we want this material to give out the electricity, which means we need to give enough pressure. But if only use the human being, only by human being to push this material constantly, I think probably it's too hard because we don't have that much energy. It's very tired for human to do that, so they must rely on something else. Then we need to zoom in to say what else can we find in the Great Pyramid. Let's zoom in, take a closer look of the pyramid. There are 3 major rooms in Great Pyramid. The King's Room, and under the King's Room, here comes the Queen's Room, and under the ground there is a basement. The Queen's Room used to be covered in the 1993. We found it, but we did just like we said. The Queen's Room there is no door, so we don't know how to go inside. Until 2001, we sent a robot camera to take a picture. Then we did find something. We found out this. one copper cable. A copper cable? Why? That material is so modern. But if we combine the information together about so far what we have found, so now we already know that in the Great Pyramid, we know there is a copper wire in Queen's room, and we know that the surface of the Great Pyramid was covered by limestone, and also most of the materials, most of the stuff we found inside of the pyramids were made from granite. And granite is a material which have good conductive properties. We combine those materials together. What came to your mind? It looks like a electricity generation device. How to generate electricity by those materials? Then we need to mention about this phenomena. This phenomena is very common. Every single day, if you go to eat outside, after finish your meal, you may use a napkin to wipe your mouth. And if by accident you accidentally drop your napkin to the cup of water, you may realize that the water will be absorbed by the napkin and the water will goes up. And it is anti-gravity. Because the earth have the gravity, so the water should goes down. But this is the phenomena that shows that the napkin, this structure, the structure in the napkin can absorb the water, and it is anti-gravity. The water will go up. And the pyramid, the first surface of the pyramid is just like napkin. It was made of limestone, if you still remember. So on the one hand, the pyramid, the surface of the pyramid, limestone, will absorb the water. Nearby the pyramid, there is a river called Nile River. So there's a lot of river around the pyramid, and the limestone the limestone on the surface of the pyramid will absorb the water and make the water go up. But because of the Earth's gravity, the water will go again. On the other hand, the water will go down because of the gravity from the Earth. And also the Nile River around the pyramid will just keep moving. So at the same time, there are a lot of fractions. And because of those fractions, then the pyramid will shaking. If there is shaking, then we will have the pressure, and the pressure will make the material quartz be pushed, and the quartz was pushed will generate electricity. And also it was said that the pyramid used to have a golden tip at the top, so by absorbing the electricity at the night, the pyramid will give out a lot of light. And in total, there are 95 pyramids in Giza. So just imagine how amazing, how astonishing it will be. In the night, there's a lot of golds are shining. And so far, you may want to ask, we talk so much things, but we haven't mentioned about this. We haven't mentioned about the stone tomb in the king's chamber of the Great Pyramid. What is that for? If the pyramid is a electricity generation system, then what does that to do to this stone tomb? Actually, there are no formal recording of that. But after we found out the Osiris tunnel, then we know what is the real purpose of this stone tomb in King's Chamber. In 1934, just 60 meters far away from Sphinx, we found an underground relic called the Tunnel of Osiris. Even though we found it, but we didn't excavate it until 1999. Then we started to dig it. We found this tunnel is very deep, in total 30 meters deep, 3 layers. The deepest one, there is a big water pond. Around the pond, there are 4 posts. The posts were engraved with pictographic characters. By studying them, we know that it is the tunnel to Osiris. Now, who is Osiris? He is the god of the dead in the Egypt, and he is in charge of rebirth. His green skin symbolizes rebirth. Some people also say he is the ancient Egypt hell god. Some archaeologists thought, is it a tomb of Osiris? But after we opened it, we found it is empty. Of course, he is the god. How come he have a tomb? He is a god. Later on, we thought probably it is related to some religion. And in the wall painting, it says it is a place to put Pharaoh. And after put the Pharaoh in his tomb, the Pharaoh will rebirth. After the Pharaoh rebirth, then it will be transferred to Osiris. Where is Osiris? In Orion constellation. If you know the Great Pyramids is aiming to 3 stars in the Orion constellation, then one of the stars is where the Osiris lives in. He stays in Orion's constellation, which means the whole tomb is a transfer device. The whole pyramid is a transfer device, is a rebirth device to make Pharaoh rebirth. Means if the Pharaoh passed away, they will put the Pharaoh in the stone tomb of the king's chamber in the Great Pyramid, and the Great Pyramid will somehow generate the electricity and transfer the Pharaoh to the tomb of Osiris. Then the Osiris in the Orion constellation will in charge of make the Pharaoh rebirth and put the Pharaoh to the heaven. So from this perspective, the whole Great Pyramid is a electricity generation device to help the Pharaoh rebirth. If you like this sharing, please subscribe to support. See you next time.